Hi everyone, I'm Mira here at Mad Mimi, and this is Hanging Out with Mad Mimi every Wednesdays at 4. I'm so glad you could join us. This week we are joined by Mimika Cooney from mimikacooney.com and also the Capture School. Thank you for joining us.
Sure, pleasure. Lovely to be here. I dressed for the occasion. For my Mad Mimi BFF, I'm just, wearing her in person, bringing her to life.
I can see her sitting before me. It's lovely.
Exactly. It's fabulous. Except the hair was not working earlier on, so excuse the fuzziness. We'll just have to work with my stylist was off today. Kidding.
Well, I think you look lovely, so no problems there. For anyone who's watching, if you see a Q&A button at the top of your screen, you can pop any questions you have for us as we go. If we say something you don't get, or you have more questions about something that we've mentioned, or you want us to talk about something totally different, pop those questions in and we'll get them answered right away. So I'd like to start with just some background from you, Mimika. You've been a photographer and a marketer, and I'm wondering if you can just share a little bit of your story with us.
Sure, yes. Well, I've been in online marketing for close to 20 years. I know that ages me a little. But I'm South African, just like Mad Mimi's owners. We're all from us crazy South Africans doing crazy stuff. I started in the internet back in South Africa when it first came out, and it was like, wow, this is going to change the world. And my husband and I worked in an internet company together doing web design. And I kind of got into email and online marketing way back then when it started to come out, and people were just getting the feel of it. And then we did several moves. We left South Africa in 2000 and went to England, where we lived for about 6 years. And I was still working with my husband in his online marketing company. And then I got interested in photography as a hobby, really. And then once the bug bit, I was like fully into this. I was like, oh, I just love this. This is creative. And I really figured out how to turn my hobby into a full-time career. And subsequent to that, we left England in 2006, and now we've been living in Charlotte, North Carolina for about 8 years now. And when we moved, I restarted my photography business all over again. Mm-hmm. So in total, I've been a photographer for about 11 years. And the last 2 years, I've been infusing back into helping other people with their marketing strategies, online marketing, and like you mentioned earlier, I'm actually the founder of Capture School, which is launching in 2015, which helps creatives run a business, and we give them tools for email marketing, branding, and business. Because I don't know if you know, us creators, we have a little ADD. We can't really concentrate, so we need like help in going in the right direction. And I like, really easy to digest topics and tips that I can use in my own business. So it's been a little bit of a long way to get here, but this is where we are here. I've done like a full circle.
Mm-hmm. From marketing to photography to marketing.
Exactly.
Did you find any differences in each of those different places you lived in working in internet marketing, or was it big global internet?
Well, of course, with every country has its own culture. In South Africa, when the internet came out, we were at least 5 years behind the rest of the world, because that was when we had dial-up, like ding, 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 You would send it off there and you would hear this cranking it up. And of course, England and the US are far more ahead. Even today, my South African family have issues with their internet. Some of them can't even get, really good dial-up speeds, and they don't even have Wi-Fi in some places. But here, when in the US, we kind of take it for granted how easy it is just to hop online. There's Wi-Fi in Starbucks, So that was a bit of a challenge, having to work around the technical side of things. Mm-hmm. And I suppose that also helped me figure out, like, when I was designing websites, I had to make sure they loaded fast so they wouldn't use up a lot of bandwidth. And then things like that. And then, of course, just the different culture of the way people market themselves is different. Like, for instance, here in the US, it's like it's fine for you to tell everybody how wonderful you are and brag about how great your business is. But in England and South Africa, that doesn't go down so well. You're kind of like, we're more of the, show me what you can do and let your work speak for yourself. So for me, the biggest lesson coming to America was learning marketing, and this was marketing on steroids. Like, how to actually get your name known. And of course, the biggest shock for me was just how big America is. You might be, like in England, we're in a small little town that maybe had like 100,000 people in the whole town. Mm-hmm. So in order to stand out there was a little easier, because as a photographer at that time, talking like 2004, maybe there were about 10 or 12 wedding photographers in town. Nowadays, it's more like 200 because everybody and his auntie has got a camera and calls themselves a photographer. So it's really hard to stand out nowadays, and I think that's why I've got a passion to help other people in their business and in marketing, because if you have a great product or a great service or great art, who wants to be a starving artist? And it all really comes down to how you market yourself, how you position yourself, and how you get people to know about you. So those are the biggest lessons I've learned. So across all cultures, that is the one thing that doesn't change, is being able to tell your story in a meaningful way.
Wow. That's the difference in cultures and in standing out in different populations is really fascinating. It's not something that I would have thought of, having been American and been in America and around American marketing my whole life. We actually have a question coming in, so I don't know if you want to field it now, or should we pause? Okay. Just as a preview for everyone, we're hoping to cover the following topics for everybody, which is the importance of building a list, why it's so important to get those people's email addresses, how you can entice signups, and how you can really work on getting those clicks and getting people to put those email addresses in, and then building effective drip campaigns, or you may have heard them called autoresponders, same thing. So just so you know, that's what's upcoming in our discussion. But right now, Jen VazquezPhotography is asking a question about Google Analytics, asking what are the areas that she should definitely be looking in Google Analytics to gather information regarding where to spend her marketing time.
Oh, hey Jen, nice to see you here. Well, that is a really broad question, and I think it's something probably I could answer offline and in more detail, because when you want to spend your marketing budget is a huge thing. But for this intents of purposes, I always believe that no matter where you put your money, you want it to be the most effective in return of investment. So for me, what I found after doing a lot of testing and trials, email marketing is still my biggest draw to gain new clients. And there's certain techniques we can use, and the best news is that a lot of them can be free. Like if you look at your Google Analytics and you're looking at exactly where your traffic is coming from, that's great. So you can optimize and say, okay, if this place is bringing me more leads, and I can concentrate on amping that up. But in terms of marketing spend, I'm all for bootstrapping. Like, what are the ideas that we can use to really get ourselves out there at very little cost? So I think it's a good segue into starting with the first topic, is exactly why it is you need to build a list. So let's get right on this. If you've got a pen and paper, you probably want to make some notes, because we're going to have this, you can go back and sort of review it. So just to give you an update, I recently read, and I'm not going to quote where in case I get in trouble, but basically the idea is that email marketing is still the most effective way to get your message across to people. Because if you think about it, how many marketing messages do we actually hear every day, whether it's Facebook or Instagram or driving down the road or on the radio? It's like so much noise. And for a lot of us, we've learned to sort of filter that out, then unless it's something specific we're looking for. And that's why what we call inbound marketing, or when people are searching for your service or product, is far more effective than trying to put a big billboard somewhere and you hope that throw spaghetti at the wall and hope it will stick. That kind of process, by making a lot of noise, doesn't necessarily work anymore, especially if you are someone like me. You're a solopreneur, entrepreneur running your business with very few resources. We really have to be smart. So the very first thing, no matter what industry you're in, is you have to start signing up people to an email list. Whether it's, just sign up for updates to my blog posts, or, here is a free download, and we'll go into more detail about why that's important. But the first topic is that you really need to start doing that, because with email marketing, you are having a one-on-one conversation with that person. Because if you think about it, if you're like me, like I wake up in the morning, grab my coffee, and the first thing I do is start scrolling through my email. And that way I'm looking for relevant information. So if an email has come through promoting something, this person is promoting their product or service, or having a conversation with me, I know I'm going to see it, as opposed to even posting something on Facebook or any social media. It's all about timing. A lot of the time is like, when are people watching? Did someone see that post? And a lot of the time, I know for all of us on Facebook who have business pages, people are not seeing our stuff anymore, because it's just filtered out. It's the pay to play.
Absolutely.
So that's why I feel, email marketing is your option, is your opportunity to really create a connection with your potential client, and then really create that brand loyalty. Because at the end of the day, as marketers, no matter what we provide, what we offer the world, whether it's a product or a service, we want to create value, and how you create value is to create that connection, and how you create connection is to start a conversation. But just like anything, if you're like a pretty girl in a bar and a guy comes up to you and goes, "Hey honey, here's my card, do you want to get married?" You'd be like, "Ew, get away from me, you're like gross, that's just too much in my face." And that's what I feel like a lot of this marketing is nowadays, is, like, here I am, here's my bye, and it's like, ugh, I don't want to hear that. Where how you would approach a relationship is, get some conversation going, and by you putting an opt-in box on your website, you are saying to the person, I have information to give you. Will you give me your permission to start a conversation? And then they're not going to just delete you the minute they see you. They've actually asked to get your info. And in actual fact, today, if you go to my website, mimikacooney.com, I just recently did an update based on the stuff I've been hearing about landing pages. And instead of taking people directly to my blog posts like I have in the past, where it's like a lot of information that I don't know where to get to first, my number one marketing strategy is getting people's email addresses. So if you go to my website and you check it out, there's a landing page. You can't begin without giving me your email. So it says to you, and this is also based on the psychology of what people from lead pages have tested. And I know it's worked really, really well to get a really good click-through rate, which is, how many times people are going to actually click your sign-up box. Giving them an information about what they can expect, then getting their email address, and then providing them with something. So you've got their permission, and that is what's key. One thing we must mention is the do not do's. You don't go to a networking event and grab a whole bunch of business cards and then go cram them into Mad Mimi, into your contacts, and start spamming people. People do not like that. You have to answer. Yeah, that is, in Canada it's illegal, and it's kind of gross. It's not a way you would go, and it's not speed dating. This is real relationship based marketing. So you have to get people's permission first. So that's why I feel having an opt-in box, whether it's the top right that says get my free download or click my updates, and there's several tools that I love. One of them is SumoMe, which is SUMOMe.com. There are little share and like buttons. You can integrate Mad Mimi with that, where if someone comes to your site, you get these pop-ups. I know they're annoying, but they have shown to really, really work. So you can figure out how you want that to work. Having a little sign-up box on your page, or like with mine, that I have a landing page where it gets their information. So there are a few ways that you can present it to people without being too annoying. But at the end of the day, that's what's vital, is to first get them in the list. So I don't know if there's any questions for that first section.
Any questions for Mimika? In that vein as well, we have several integrations with Mad Mimi that can help you style those opt-in boxes in many, many different ways. Mika mentioned SumoMe is a fabulous app that gives you many, many options. They have several apps within their offering, but they do allow you to publish a sign-up form on your site. Opt-in Ninja is another great sort of like Lead Pages, which we also have an integration with. You can create landing pages to capture people's signups. And another one, which we're going to be talking to the founder next week, is Gleam. So stay tuned for that. But it's another one that allows you many options for the different ways to present that opt-in box, with different rules and based on the behavior of folks who are on your site. So you have a whole world of options for how to publish that box, but spot on. You need to be just starting that conversation with getting people's permission to send them email. Email has a $40 to $1 return on investment, whereas social media has a 50 cent to $1 return for every dollar.
Yeah, do the math, what's easiest, right? And it just takes time. I mean, if you look at my website, I actually just switched to, I use Optimize Press, the theme. There is a plugin as well, but I was finding it was glitching a little with the other theme that I had, so I've just now gone full on Optimize Press. And the reason why I love OptimizePress is that it's like lead pages, except I don't have to pay every month. It's just I decide on the templates, and I can switch them out as often as I can. And the easy thing is, what I would do is I go into my Mad Mimi account, and you have your little, your web forms, and it says embed, and I would just copy and paste that code, and then put that straight into the HTML little box, and then so when someone clicks on it, out pops the little sign-up box that's styled exactly how you want it for sign-ups.
Absolutely. So we've covered why you need to build an email list and why you need to, offer that ability to sign up. And we have a new question from Jen, which is a great segue into enticing those sign-ups, as we mentioned was going to be the next topic. Feel free to ask any questions about anything past, folks. So don't feel like we've gone too far and you can't ask questions. So just pop those questions in. So Jen asks, what is on your landing page that is interesting enough to get them to give you an email address?
Well, go ahead and have a look. There's ways and means around the enticement, darling. But it all just depends on giving them a feel. And this is why I'm so big about branding. I mean, that is a discussion I have in Capture School all the time. And so in other words, if you actually go to my website now, mimikacooney.com, one of my freebies that I give away, and I do change it up a bit, but right now is my branding blueprint, which is an audio book that I put together with a worksheet. So it's great value. So if someone comes in, they want to know, do I like the way it looks? And for me, I'm always a little quirky, as you can tell. I'm always going to have that little fun side to my branding. And, is what she has of value. So it's not just, something cheap and nasty. It's something that people actually want. And it starts a conversation. So if you go to the website and you click on there, it'll say you will subscribe to the list, and you will get a drip campaign of my story, which is also the next thing that I want to tell you about exactly. In the third section, we'll talk about the actual series of how you lay that out. But some ideas, I know there's some people have asked me this before, like, what do you offer? So as we mentioned, as a bare minimum is to get people to sign up to your updates. But at the end of the day, that's not a big enough reason. You got to think, what's in it for me? So like say for Jen, she's a photographer of, she does high school senior girls. So her opt-in that high school senior girls, they love fashion. So maybe we, top 10 fashion tips for 2015, or, Paris Hilton's must-have makeup tips, or kind of think of being in the mind of your ideal clients. What are the pain points that they have, and what are their needs, and what are they looking for? So for me, I know my audience are really wanting help with their business, so I'm always trying to give them great, valuable content that relates to helping them with steps. And, I don't do fluff. I like step by step, show me how to do things. So my previous opt-in, and this is the thing, is you can test it depending on what people want. Like I had a free chapter of my baby book that I'd launched. This was like a year ago. I tried that, and that worked like gangbusters. So if you've got a book that you actually have to purchase, giving them a free chapter allows them a taste of what it is you have to sell eventually down the road. But it's also great content. How-tos are great. People love how-tos. One thing that converts like really well is toolkits. The word with toolkit, if you use that like a photographer's toolkit, or a teen's Instagram toolkit, or whatever it is, just you got to think about how your client thinks. So for me, like with my baby photography, on my baby photography site, I had a how to survive the first 6 weeks as a new mom. And I put together like a little plan, and it would say, here's a baby milestone calendar, so they could print it out at home, and every time baby had a milestone, they smiled, they rolled over, they could write on it. So it's not necessarily photography related, but it was a tool. And that
in the mindset of that person, right? If you're selling baby photography, it's your parents.
Exactly. So it's not about what you want to give, it's about what your client wants to hear. But it takes a little bit of thought, and it doesn't matter if you test things a little. As I said, I'm always testing this, like also your title of what it is you're offering. So whether it's a how-to list, video marketing courses convert really well. Like for me, I have a series of drip campaigns that are get people a taste of what Capture School is like, which is all video-based interview training. So if they want to know, they can get my branding training, and they'll get maybe like 3 of the 7 videos. So it's a good way, like if you're selling an online product. If you're selling a service, again, it's like kind of like how can you help this person get the end result. So that's the thing, is it's not necessarily the product, but it's the transformation or the result that your client's going to get from working with you. So, like coaches, it's easy to say, say if you're you want to help someone lose 20 pounds, like, tips for losing 10 pounds in 10 days, and you could put like a meal plan together. So, there are so many ideas you could come up with, and just hash out and think about what it is that your client wants. And you don't have to be, a copywriter or a writer to do it. Sometimes it can be something easy they can just simply pull out. Like, there was one website I went to, I just downloaded their motivational quotes. I mean, it was just little pretty pictures that were an illustrator put together with some motivational quotes that I've hung up on the walls and things like that. I mean, real techie, but it works. It got my email address. So exactly. Those are some great ideas. And also, if you don't know how to write, there are loads of people that you can find on elance.com or Fiverr. I love Fiverr, which is Fiverr.com, Fiverr.com. If you want to, someone will say, I will write them, a toolkit for you for $5. You could really get something done for you very easily and very cheaply. And depending on how advanced you want to go, it's just giving them something to want to give them their email address.
And I think also if you're offering something, you think it's of value, right? And so the people that you're talking to are also, you want to find those people who are also going to think that it's valuable. And offering little bits or a sample of what you have for free is an excellent strategy, because it lets people trial. It lets people check you out a little bit more and see what it is that you're offering and see what it is that you're talking about. And so it is an excellent strategy for getting people to sign up for your list.
Exactly, and it doesn't become cheesy, like salesy, because no one wants to come across as salesy, even though we have to sell ourselves, we have to put ourselves out there. And that's what I love about email. It's the whole, I call it the woo campaign. Like if you were on a date, having, approaching someone and saying, oh, you want to go on a date, you take it slow, and first you can, hold their hand, and then you would give them flowers. And this is the thing is you can do with email too. You can pop in the chocolates and the flowers along the way by offering them extras they weren't expecting, like, here's your toolkit, but, oh, by the way, I'm just going to throw this in because I love you so much. And then what that does is people go, wow, this is really valuable. It's not just, oh, they're trying to sell me something. So for me, it's always been a sort of very fine line to let people know what it is that I have to offer by giving them a little, and you can also do this in your emails, like, here's your free toolkit, P.S., by the way, if you want more information, like with my book, when I said, here's your free chapter, and then the second day I was like, well, here's the second chapter. They weren't expecting it, so it was an additional gift, because remember, whenever you gift somebody something, it's the rule of reciprocity. They feel like they're indebted to actually listen to you, and it's just like anything. When you're nice to someone, they will be nice back to you. So you can then, at the bottom, like, for me, I don't like a hard sell. I like people to see the value in what I have to offer. So often I would just put maybe a call to action, like, P.S., if you want the full book, you can buy it on Amazon here, and here's the link. Or you can take them to another landing page, or, so there's certain ways you can approach it. And it all just depends on what your end result is. So you've got to think of the end result and then work backwards.
Excellent. And one thing I want to mention here, which is a little bit tangential, but you had mentioned sending them to a landing page. And before the broadcast, we were actually talking about the fact that if you send people to a landing page, you have a lot more metrics to look at and to see what's performing well. And you can then actually see the numbers of your click-throughs and see what works. And testing is always something we recommend. Test.
And I must mention, like, to answer what Jen's original question is how to spend your money, the biggest mistake I see people making on spending their money on Facebook. Okay, so you take out a Facebook ad, and what they do is they send people to their home page. Once the person's clicked, they're like, where do I go? A lot of the time you lose it. First of all, you can't track, if they were from an ad you bought. That's why a landing page is like, even on your blog, /offer. At least you know that the Facebook ad you purchased or you promoting goes to the offer page. So then you can tell how many people click through, and this is what advertisers do in the media all the time. If you see those infomercials, go to // and then get your coupon code here. It's because they want to track the return on investment. Was this advertising worth its money? So if you're offering that, I always say you can have a sign up on your homepage, but the end result, if you're doing an event like today's event, for those who are on my mailing list, was sent to as a landing page which gave you info about today's webinar. Whether you have an ebook, because then you can say you can test 3 different offers. So you can say, I'm going to give an ebook here, I'm going to do a toolkit here, and I'm going to do a video series. And you could run them all at the same time. And you could, then it's well money spent on Facebook ads if it's very specific. And you know that those audiences are going to go to those specific pages, and then you can tell how many people sign up to those lists. And that's the things what I love about Mad Mimi is, you log into my account, it's like, scroll down and down and down. I have all these different drip campaigns and these different web forms because I'm testing every little sign up is coming from a particular promotion. So I know if I sent like an Instagram page will go like to a giveaway page or anything specific. So that's a great way to be able to test things and to know where your traffic's coming from.
Yeah. Testing and being able to, see where that's coming from. And Jen had mentioned Google Analytics. We also have a Google Analytics integration in Mad Mimi, so you can set up a tracking that will tell you exactly, where those those clicks are coming from your email specifically, if you want to. But you had mentioned your drip campaign, so I think that's a good.
Yes. Now, the reason I love a drip campaign or an autoresponder is you can't give everybody information in one go. First of all, it's too much content. And what I realized, I still suffer from, overwording things. I've always had to think, okay, if this one email has one message, what do I want it to say? Or what do I want people to get from it? The other thing is consistency often works so much better. And, and we're busy people. Everyone's busy. You get an email, oh, yeah, like I have a folder in my inbox, read later. Sometimes it just doesn't get read. It's for me, I'll go, oh yeah, I need to go back and read that series of emails that I signed up for. But it's just reminding people, and there is a fine line from being effective and being annoying, but you've just got to test out your market. But I'll give you some tips for what I've realized in some of my testing. So we've got our landing page. We've got people to sign up for that end result, that product, that toolkit, whatever it is. As soon as they click submit, now in Mad Mimi, if you look on the web form section, there is a little tab called advanced, and you can put there exactly where you want them to go. So instead of just, and that's one thing I also see is people who they don't tell their subscribers where to go after they sign up. So make sure you have that there. So you go, for me, I've realized I actually have to create another landing page that says, thank you for signing up. Please go and check your email. Because the whole confirmation story where some people are just simply not seeing your emails because Gmail is like, allergic to emails and all of a sudden puts them in a spam. So part of my optimized press theme is telling people go and check your email and to make sure that you've received it and click confirm. So then they know they can actually start getting the emails. So that's an important tip. So when you're setting up that drip campaign, and of course the drip campaign, you can set up as many emails as you like. And you can stagger them however you like. What I did find, though, in the experimentation that I've done, is you really want to do a minimum of 4, ideally 4 to 10 emails. Right now, mine is sitting at 7, and sometimes it's a little more, sometimes it's a little less, but for now, I'm using 7. And what I find is when someone signs up for your email list, they're excited, they know about, they want to get what you have to offer. A lot of online marketers say the best time to ask them to take action or to buy something is straight after they've taken action or bought something. So what you can do, and I haven't personally started doing this yet, it's one of these testing things that I want to test out myself. On that landing page, you can say, here is a download to X, or here is if you want to get, you can do that if you want to try. But what you want to start doing with the drip campaign is to really, the first 7 days is what I call the honeymoon period. You want them to bond with you. So I don't like to be very salesy. I like to, kind of get them. And for me, being a photographer, I like to tell my story when I'm teaching other photographers. Is, like I've been there, done that. This is my story of my journey of how things totally sucked, and I was able to figure out how to turn it around. So immediately they're drawn into the story. And then a lot of brands, whether you're a solopreneur or you represent a brand, I think a lot of this is an integral part of brand marketing people are missing out, is telling the story that gets people connected. Because at the end of the day, by the end of the drip campaign, you will know if you get unsubscribes, it actually means it's successful, because you want to have people who will stay on your list for longevity purposes. So don't be worried if you get a bunch of subscribes and then a bunch of unsubscribes. Those people were never meant to work with you. Where you know that if you can get people to bond with you within that first 7-day honeymoon period, then you've got a relationship established there. You can continue. Then you can start offering them things, and then they'll know that, oh, emails from Mimika are really valuable. I'm not going to delete them. Put them in my spam folder. I want to make sure that I read them because, I know Mimika's going to offer me really good value. And what I found is the drip campaign is, say, today is day 1, they sign up. You want to have, for the next 3 days, you send them something every day at the same time. So depending on, you can set it up whatever time you could, 7 in the morning, 12 in the day. You can kind of figure it out when you feel like people are signing up to your list. And then it creates that expectation. So the first 3 days is every day. And then from day 4, you could either do it straight after day 4, or you could skip a day and then do day 5, and then skip a day and do day 7. So you're not like too much in their face. And then you can do day 10, and then you can do day 15, and then you can do once a week. So you can keep it consistent, and you're keeping the conversation going. But those first initial days are really integral because you're top of mind. They've just signed up for this. And they want to know what it is you have to offer, because by the 3rd day they'll know whether this is something they want to continue reading, or if they want to just, sayonara baby, rather click off. So, because with Mad Mimi, of course, you pay for the number of emails you have. Then it's no point in having dead emails that really are not interested in what you have to offer, because most often not the people who don't open up your emails are the ones who say, oh, spam, because they haven't bothered to read your emails. So.
Right. And
yes.
that's a really important point that I'd like to just reiterate, is that unsubscribes are not the end of the world. In fact, they're excellent, because the whole point, when we say it's so important to build your email list, it is, but it's not important to just get quantity. You really want to have people who are connected to your brand, as Mimika mentioned, and people who are going to be engaged in your content and who will eventually purchase what it is that you are offering. So unsubscribes don't panic when you see them, celebrate.
Exactly. I mean, I must admit, when I log in, I go like, oh, the first thing I do is I see who, when it says the growth button, it is negative. I'm like, oh no, because I know how hard it is to get these people on my list in the first place. But I've realized now when I click on those emails, and often or not, I look at, the tab that says emails received. Very often, 90% of the time, the people who unsubscribe never bother actually opening my emails and reading them.
Mm-hmm.
Ever so often, maybe someone just finds me totally annoying and then decides to unsubscribe because they just don't think the content's relevant, which is fine. But for the most part, really, retention of quality emails is so much more effective, especially on a longer, if you look at building your email campaign, if you are deciding that email marketing is a really great traction channel for you to get your business and your brand off the ground, I tell you, once you've had people's email addresses and you've got that whole value in what you offer, no matter what you decide to offer in the future, people know, like, and trust you. And that's really the most important part of marketing, because marketing doesn't have to be sleazy or salesy or, marketing is not sales. It's a conversation. I always say marketing is like dating. That's how you approach it with your business. Become more great to be around and, fun to hang out with, and people will stick around.
Absolutely. And just like your emails that you want to be fun to hang around, Jen has submitted one last very important question, which isn't really a question, but she said, Mimika is the best.
Oh, yeah. Thank you, Jen. She is so sweet.
You have some good fans here, anyway.
And exactly. And Jen, I know because she's on my email list, and I see her, when she signed up, and she's like, whenever I come up with something, very supportive, always right there, and that's the kind of person, I need more Jens. And that's what I say, even though my list is not huge, I feel that the people who are on my list are getting value from what I have to offer. They will find value in me and what it is I have to say, And then there's create that connection, because just like when I'm running my photography business, I like to work with people who like me. And I've always taken a boutique approach to my business. No matter how you want to scale your business, even big brands can learn from that, is how can you become more likable, and how can you show more skin? You know, how can you show people the real person behind the brand? Because I think those days are over of, you know, buy this because, you know, this is what works. You know, people are like, yeah, right. They'll rather listen to a referral, or they'll rather know that this person is, because I think trust is the most important and the most underrated business and marketing skill, and it has the most value. So before spending your money on any major expensive ad campaigns, you've got to think about how is it that you can have a better conversation with your ideal client, how you can get them to know, like, and trust you, and how you can continue the conversation. Because for me, I mean, I've looked at, I originally started with Constant Contact in, was it 2005, and a lot of people that were on that list that have, you know, I've migrated through Infusionsoft and then Mad Mimi and back to, you know, all these different programs I've tried. A lot of them have actually been on my list since 2005. So they obviously find value in what I have to offer, and I'm like, oh, they're still there, but, you know. And that's the other thing I've realized is when you wanting people to buy something from you, it might not be a no now, it might be later. And this is another assumption people forget, is that if you don't have a conversation going with them, you don't know when your client is ready to buy from you. And many, many times, especially when I was, you know, when I'm doing full-time photography promotions, sometimes I find people would sign up to my list and they wouldn't buy for 5 years. But when they do buy, I don't have issues with price. I don't have people arguing with me about what it is I offer. They already know me. They're like, oh, I saw you today, and I saw this thing. I remember that thing, and I'm like, oh yeah, I did put that in email. I kind of forget what, you know, how much I share out there. So don't assume that because someone isn't purchasing from you now or taking action right now, that they might not want to purchase from you in the future. We've got to look at this as a long haul. And even though email marketing will take a little longer for you to build up, it's not about the size of your list. It's about the quality of your list and if you're offering value. So I think that definitely does sum up a good introduction into marketing, email marketing.
Absolutely. That was our 101. We'll be rescheduling for 102 and in more advanced classes.
Exactly, and there's so much more we can do. Like, you know, we can definitely save this for another day. But going more deeply into certain things, like, you know, how you create that offer, how you make it appealing to people, and as well as, you know, the actual setting up of your drip campaign. You know, what to do. I mean, I know we talked about this earlier. You know, if someone is in your drip campaign and they buy from you halfway, you know, what can you do? Not, you know, that your drip campaign isn't going to annoy them because you're still in conversation with them. But at the end of the day, my biggest tip was definitely get them signing up, offer them something of value, and just start, and it'll start to grow from there.
Absolutely. And a few last kind of technical questions here. Well, Stefanie Risor-Yates, sorry if I mispronounced that, she thinks you're awesome too.
Oh, gee, thank you. Yay!
And then Jen is asking a couple Mad Mimi specific questions, which is, are the drip campaigns available on the free plan? Which they are not. The drip campaigns are a free add-on, but they're only available for paid plans. So that means starting from 500 contacts with unlimited sends and then up, you can use drip campaigns for free. But on the free plan, we don't offer drip campaigns. However, if you're interested in a trial, we're more than happy to.
And it's really affordable. I mean, you know, I think I pay like $27 a month. I mean, like, hello, that's like 4 cappuccinos, you know, to manage my email marketing for my company. Because, you know, as I said, I've worked with other more expensive software programs that are $250 a month. So if somebody who's got a small budget, who really just wants to start having the conversation with their clients, really, you can't go wrong. And then there's so many other things that you can get, like you can have the add-ons, like you have the Facebook integration, you can have people sign up to your list from your Facebook page, you can add that as a tab, you can integrate it in several other different options. As I said, you know, you just need to go and check. You've got a lot of you know, analytics options there. I mean, you could go to town. I mean, I don't even think I've integrated a lot of the stuff. I may be using about 80%, but there's still some things that I know I could definitely use that help to make things easier. And I must mention, I've been working with you guys at Mad Mimi, and starting in New Year, part of my capture school is I'm actually going to be offering, if you sign up to Mad Mimi, use madmimi.com/Mimika, you can actually get access to my email template. So if you have an account and you sign up through that link, I'm going to be I've created a super account, which means I'm going to design them. So if you feel like, oh my gosh, where do I start? What works? And I'm going to just let you borrow whatever sort of layouts I've used, and you can just drag and drop your images in there. So that's another great way of helping you guys get ahead.
Sneak peek for what's coming in 2015.
Yeah, awesome.
That is a neat offer that Mimika is going to have, so stay tuned for that, especially if you're already interested in Mad Mimi at all. that will be a nice, sweet little touch. Mm-hmm. Jen has also asked if 500 contacts for Mad Mimi, 500 ever added or 500 at one time. And what that means is 500 unique contacts that you can store and send to. So you can't have 500 contacts and then delete those and put 500 more. It's sort of 500 in your account, and that will go up and down as people either unsubscribe or sign up. But that's the unique contact limit for that plan level.
Mm-hmm. So I mean, your plan levels, they start really cheap. What are they again? I can't remember. They're really cheap, right?
500. So the paid plans start at the 500 contact level, and that's $10 a month. You get unlimited sending and access to all of the premium add-ons.
Yeah, $10. There you go, Jane. $10. You can do that. And then it goes up.
And then it goes up from there. Yeah.
You know, if you have like some major enterprise and you have like 100,000 people, then you'd be paying like $500 a month. But you know, for us that are solopreneur creatives and doing our own thing, you know, you can't go wrong with $10 a month to get your system going. It's pretty easy, and you guys have great tutorials, just like we're doing today. Free tutorials, and I have to mention, which I find is totally hilarious, the Mad Mimi support system. You send an email to anybody, and everybody will see it. You're guaranteed that you will get a reply within 24 hours. That actually sounds like an ad, but it is. It's kind of creepy sometimes, but it's really cool. Like if I have a question, Sean or Mira or Celeste will answer, and someone will have my back so they can answer me. And that's what I find about what I love about you guys do is you know how to support your customers.
It's what we're there for. We're all there to answer everybody's questions.
It's like pick me.
Exactly. And Stephanie has asked, how do you add a button to work for them to sign up? And Stefanie, this is really easy in your Mad Mimi account. You should see up in the top right, there's a web form link. You just click there and you can create your form. You can add an image if you want. You can style it in different ways. And then you just click the embed button, and that gives you a code to put on your site. And so then you can publish that code anywhere that you want on your site. And there are different integrations like we mentioned before, but that's the basic. And if you have any specific questions about an integration or anything, just email me at mira@madmimi.com, and exactly. Someone else might answer.
Easy, because when you create the web form, you have a link that you can send as an email, or you can, like I love the Styles tab because it really looks pretty. You just copy and paste the HTML, and just like you're writing a blog post, you can say, here's my blog page or my sign-up offer. You know, to sign up for my X, enter here, and you literally just copy and it's in the tags, the frame, and it'll just pop up and look exactly how you've designed it in Mad Mimi. And I do find adding an image helps as well. If you have just a little logo image, it doesn't have to be huge, just something that kind of shows people what it is they're getting.
Yeah, and you can add even, I mean, if you're savvy with photo editing software, the PicMonkey.com is a fabulous place to go for that if you don't have any.
And my favorite, Canva.com. I'm like there all the time. It's just like you can create little links there too. Like a lot of my graphics lately, I've been using them because it's really cute. You can actually just drag and drop things there. And the other thing I must mention is when signups, and this is something that I've tested as well. Every time you ask somebody for something like first name, last name, email, address, the more you ask them, your percentage of signups goes down. So kind of think about what it is you want from them. Like I do like to have a first name, but sometimes if it's somebody who hasn't heard from me, like say a Facebook ad, these are strangers who don't know me, sometimes all I'll ask them for is the email address, one thing. And then sometimes if it's on my page and I'm sending them something that I'll then ask them for the name, because I prefer to use people's first names. So I know from a future, but that's something to take into account. Don't add too many form fields. It kind of puts people off.
Yeah, a basic sign-up form is really, if you're starting out, that is what I would recommend you start with, is email address, and that's it. And then, see where you go from there and see what you want to segment out, or see, you can create a web form that you link people to from an email. So, sign up, click this link to sign up for this additional information, or to RSVP for this event, or something like that. And in that link, you can gather more information, because these are folks who are already interested and already engaging with your content.
Exactly.
So, and she says, awesome, thanks. You're welcome.
Perfect. Well, I know I was talking 100 miles an hour trying to get as much information to you as I can understand what to do, but we can definitely have a second edition going into more detail, but at least it gives you a good idea. It doesn't have to be hard. It doesn't have to be complicated. Just go out there and start doing it. So, you can do that tonight. You can do it in Google Docs, a PDF, something, a one-page, whatever. Just something that you feel like your perfect clientele would want from you. And it's like you're giving them a box of chocolates. I mean, who's going to refuse chocolates, right?
Not me. All right, fabulous. Well, I hope everyone enjoyed themselves. Jen has also said thank you and that she's excited. So you're so welcome. Thank you for joining
pleasure.
us.
We're glad to be here.
Yes. Thank you, Mimika, for joining us. Thank you, everyone who watched. And you can always watch this again anytime if you want to refer back to the things we talked about. The links to different help docs about these various items, like the sign-up forms and drip campaigns, those will all be in the YouTube description. So you can head to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/madmimiemail, and you can find all of our episodes and this one included. And we'll be back next week to talk about specifically sign-up forms using the integration Gleam. And that's it. Have a great week, everyone.
Thanks for having me, everyone. Take care.
Bye.